Hello, everyone. Welcome again to the Wealth Preservation Podcast. I am your co-host, Mark Seither, and I have with me Josh Saunders.
Hello, everybody. How's it going today? We are super excited to have, again, another session with our good friend and resident Kraken Backen chiropractor, Dr. Jared Thomas. Dr. Jared, great to be here.
Good to be with you.
Thanks. This episode is really going to be a lot of fun. If you didn't catch our first episode, Dr. Jared just talked about his business process and how he got to where he was at and kind of what he did. And so if you're in a field that doesn't know really what your business model looks like, or maybe the business model you have isn't effective, go back and check that one out because he really changed his business model just into something different, and it's been very, very, very successful. So make sure you go back and check that out. We'll have you kind of recover that before we get going. But this one is going to be a lot about some neat marketing, how Dr. Jared uses social media. He kills it on social media. So make sure you check him out there. And just kind of how he does that, and then some of the marketing techniques he's used to just kind of grow his practice. So with that, we'll kind of kick it off.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, first give us a quick recap of just Thomas Chiropractic and where you guys are at, where you're located, where people can find you, and then, to stay topical, where they can find you on social media.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I mean, Thomas Chiropractic, we're located in Roseville. We're on Sunrise, across from the old spaghetti factory. Pretty easy to find. It's the heart of Roseville.
It's a Dutch Brothers now.
Oh, yeah. I should say that, right?
Yeah.
Kitty corner across the street from Dutch Brothers,
yes.
right? Or is it
Huge.
Dutch Brothers or Bros?
Dutch Bros. As if you're cool, it's Dutch Bros.
Everyone says Bros. I say Brothers because I'm kind of like that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call it Les Mis either. I'm going to call it Les Miserables. It's kind of one of those
I think
things,
it depends
right?
on what you drive and what kind of hat you wear.
Yeah.
Maybe
Do you wear a beanie on your head or on the back of your head? That's kind of where we go.
I don't wear beanies. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Fun fact.
Dutch Brothers, then. Just
So-
to clarify.
Just Dutch Brothers.
Dutch
Brothers.
Sure.
Dutch
And
Brothers.
I don't drink coffee either, so I never really go over there. Sugary drinks, although they're
Yeah.
great, I can't stand them. So anyway, the recap, right? What else about Thomas Chiropractic? The big thing is that we keep things very affordable, and we want to make sure that it's really convenient. Right? So
Right.
we're seeing a lot of patients coming through there.
Which is, again, it's a very different business model than most chiropractors.
It is.
Not all, but most.
It is very different. No,
Yeah.
but than most that
Yeah.
I know of. Yes, I mean it's about making it convenient for the patient, and then making it so affordable that everyone can come in.
Wow.
And
Okay.
that's the key.
And what was your kind of acronym or your mnemonic you used, or before you sell to masses and classes?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I mean, the patient told me a long time
Yeah.
ago. Yeah, if you sell to the classes, you'll live with the masses.
Okay.
But if you sell to the masses, you'll live with the classes. Right.
Gotcha.
It's kind of the Walmart effect. Not to use that as a prime example, because they've gone the
You
wayside.
don't want to be the Walmart of
Well,
chiropractic.
I want to
Dr.
be
Jared.
I want to be the Sam Walton Walmart.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Gotcha.
yes,
You know what I
very,
mean?
very different
And
business
very
model.
different
not
business model.
not the I'm walking around and the rule of Walmart now is that if you really need it, they don't have it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
If you don't need it, they've got it. But
Yeah.
no, but under Sam Walton, right? If you remember, I mean, he really, really wanted to make it affordable, and he wanted excellent customer service, and it was, and if you honestly, I mean, that you could find anything there,
Right.
and you could return anything there. Now
Yeah.
it's completely different now,
Yeah.
but he made, I mean, a ton of money, right?
Yeah.
Selling to
If you think
Everyone
$100
who
billion
could afford
is, $100 billion, whatever.
I mean,
I know, right?
I think of the 8 people or of the 10 people who inherited his estate,
yes.
8 of them got bumped up to the top 10 richest people in the world.
I mean,
right.
there you go, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's
that's-
Sam Walton. That's the kind of, I mean, and it's not for me. Again, it's not about the money. Money is important, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's really
That's how you
important.
feed your family.
You know, in business and things like that. But I've never focused on the money.
Sure.
I focus on how many people can I help.
Yeah.
And if I can help a lot of people, money comes.
Yeah.
And it comes
Yeah.
plentifully.
Sure.
There's an abundance of money out there for people who are willing to help other people.
Right.
So that's what I focus on: convenient, affordable, things like that. And then we go from there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And so in our last episode, you did allude to the fact that it's like, hey, a lot of this has to do with marketing. I mean, one of the pieces of advice you wanted to go back and give yourself was about marketing, about networking, about all that.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to dive down into in this episode. And for you guys who are listening, just in our brief interaction prior to pushing the record button, he already told me some of the stuff I was doing was wrong. So I mean, I'm learning already.
Yeah.
So there's some.
Yeah. It's not wrong. It's not
It's
wrong.
just-
It's
really
just not
look,
right.
Look, there's a way to
It's just
do
wrong
it.
if you
Okay,
want
so-
to get business.
No, and nothing like that either. It's just, look, if you want to set yourself apart,
Mhm.
okay. And here's what I'll go back to, and this is when we were talking earlier about Josh Saunders and, sorry, Josh Saunders, you're Josh Saunders.
Yeah.
We were talking about Josh Unfried,
Yeah.
and where we
Over
met.
Farm Marketing.
Right?
Yep.
We were going around. I was the example, Okay. And here's what clicked for both Josh and for me. Okay. Is that I didn't know how to use social media, but I did know how to network. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been involved with the Chamber of Commerce. I think at the time I'd been an ambassador already. I'd been an ambassador for a little while. And I knew how to network. Now, going back in the day, I would have taught myself how to network better and more. So when we brought that up and my friend said, "What are you going to do on Twitter? Tell people to sit up straight." I thought, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Right.
Yeah.
You have to have a message whenever you go out to a networking event. You don't want to just be the random guy who's there for no reason.
Sure.
Right. I mean, that's not networking either. But at the same time, you don't want to be the guy, and we all know this guy, right? Who starts shaking your hand, and within 30 seconds, the full-on sales pitch is going, right? I mean, you might as well be in a car dealership. You're not getting out of there until he sells you. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And you finally just take his card and make an appointment that you know you'll never keep just because you want to get out of there, right?
He probably works for a major life insurance company.
Yeah. Hi, I'm a financial planner.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, you and every other person in this room, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the thing that I was going with that is that what I took from my networking in terms of building relationships, because that's really what networking is all about.
Yeah.
It's not going in there and making a sale. It's about building a relationship.
Right.
And if you take that into the social media world, that's where the magic happens.
Gotcha.
Okay. And what I see too often today, and I've seen it for years, since 2009 when I jumped on it, is that there's two types of people on social media. There's the people who overshare their lunch and their thoughts and their everything else like that. And then there's the people who are just trying to advertise to you.
Right.
Interestingly enough, the former is more interesting than the latter.
Yeah.
Right? And people will pay attention. Because
Yeah.
if you try and advertise to people too much on social media, they'll ignore you.
They just tune you out.
Yeah,
Right.
because it's social media.
Right.
Right. And and so that's where that comes in. You have to network on social media.
Right.
Okay. If you want it to work. And I'm talking mostly Facebook, Twitter's the same thing. So what I've discovered with this early on, especially on Twitter, I was on Twitter just talking, just being on Twitter.
Right.
And making comments on Twitter.
Telling people to sit up straight.
I wasn't even doing that. That's the thing, right? I mean, I wasn't just sitting there going, sit up straight. Everyone needs to sit up straight.
I can see
I'm a
you.
chiropractor. I can help
see
you.
you.
I'm not just out there telling people what I do and how I do it.
Sure.
Instead, I had a guy who we were talking about Jim Boy's Tacos of all things, because there's one by my house that had opened up and then like 2 months later it closed down. And we're like, what's up with that? Someone put it out there. He apparently lived really close to me. And he asked me, he said, or he put out there on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
And this is back when Twitter was actually fun and cool.
Yeah.
Right now it's just noise.
It's a hot mess.
It's a hot mess. Yeah. It's just too much noise.
Jack Dorsey, if you're listening, fix it.
So anyway, I don't know that you can, because Facebook
can.
honestly has surpassed them in terms of the usability of it and the sociability of it.
Yeah.
But he basically just said, hey, anyone know why this is down? And I just responded, I'm like, yeah, wasn't it just open 2 months ago? We had this little conversation back and forth about a taco place.
Yeah.
Right.
Tacos.
Tacos. Right.
Yeah.
Is it Tuesday? Oh, it's Wednesday. Dang it, I had tacos last night.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he says, hey, you're a chiropractor. Yes. Do you work on shoulders? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to come in and see you. We weren't talking chiropractic.
Yeah. You weren't trying to sell him anything.
I wasn't trying to sell him. I wasn't trying to convince anyone of anything.
Yeah.
We were networking.
Yep.
We were making relationships.
Right.
And so when you look at that and you say, okay, how can I take that to social media? That's what I try to do on a daily basis. I'm selling myself.
Right.
Okay. And that's what networking is. And honestly, that's what most people are selling.
Right.
I mean, they're either selling themselves or they're selling a widget or a concept. Right.
Yeah.
As a chiropractor, I'm selling myself.
Yeah.
Because although I can try and sell chiropractic, nobody listens until they trust the person talking to them about it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm trying to sell myself, and I'm not even trying to sell my business model yet.
Right.
Right. I mean, we do eventually.
Sure.
But I'm just trying to make relationships.
Right.
And how do you make relationships? What
you're being real, and
you don't talk about yourself the whole time.
Sure.
right? And what you do. And you talk about what other people want to talk about.
Might be why I have no friends. I don't know.
Yeah.
One of the many
Maybe.
reasons.
Or it
Mark.
could be Mark.
Which is ironic that was a statement about me.
So, right. There you go. Case in point,
okay.
right?
Boom.
So if you look at that, right, in terms of, you were asking earlier, well, how come, do you use Hootsuite? You asked me that earlier.
Yeah.
Because I post on Facebook and Twitter, LinkedIn.
Yeah.
There's Google has a new platform it's it's like different than Google Plus, but it's Google Business. You have Instagram, right? And I
You mean
post
the gram.
the Gram.
The
yes.
Gram.
Yes. Yes.
That's what the cool kids call it. I'm not cool, so I didn't even know that. But
Yeah, my kids know that too.
Yeah.
So all of these things, and you asked, do I use Hootsuite to blast it all out there at once? And I don't, because each one uses a little bit of a different platform that doesn't look as good, or it's not as linkable, if you will.
Sure.
But the other reason is that forces me to go onto those platforms each and every time. And each time I do, I scroll through and I look at things where I can make comments and make relationships.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the key right there.
Yeah.
Is that if you're just that person who never makes a comment on Facebook to anyone else about anything that they got to like a bunch of things.
You're just a stalker.
No, all you are is an advertiser.
Right. Yeah.
That's all you are.
No, sure. Absolutely. You're
Right?
not contributing to the community, so to speak.
You're not communicating. You're not
Right.
being social.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You're just an advertisement.
Right.
And so that's the thing that I emphasize when I talk to people about social media, is that it's social.
Yeah.
Right. The fact that you're a chiropractor, the fact that you're whatever it is, that you're a financial planner, that will sell itself.
Right.
You have that in your bio.
Right.
People will look at that when they're like,
Sure.
I like this guy. He's cool. He knows
Yeah.
things. He likes to talk about things.
Right.
Then they'll look at your bio and they'll go, oh. And then there's a level of trust already built up.
Gotcha.
And
Yep.
now you're somehow an expert because you're nice to them.
Right. Yeah.
So,
No, absolutely.
I mean, that's one of the things that I would talk about. The other
Okay.
thing that I would say is very underutilized, things that you were talking about before, is the blog.
Okay.
So the blog is not just about communicating your thoughts.
Mhm.
It has a lot to do with search engine optimization.
Okay.
And one of the things that's been really successful for me is staying very high on the search engines.
Yep.
I'm consistently up there. And it's not because I have the flashiest or showiest website. In fact, my website's fairly simple.
Yeah.
I mean, and on purpose. But it's because I blog, and I've got so much content that I've put on that blog consistently through the, now 10 years
Right.
that I've been writing it, that it's going to be really tough to knock me off. And even
Yeah.
though people have come in with these faddish ways to search higher
Yeah.
on the search engines,
On the Googles.
I've always been ranked up at the top
Sure.
because
Okay.
of that. And then along with that, also making sure that you have good, solid reviews and plenty of them.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Especially for your industry is a huge deal.
Huge,
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
And but there's a way to get those too, right?
Yep.
I mean, it takes a lot of effort to write your own reviews, but it's
Yeah.
never mind. I'm just kidding. Don't write your own reviews. Don't write your own
I gotta
reviews.
create a whole new backstory to this character.
You got to go to a different IP address.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
every
Man.
coffee shop. No,
Yeah.
don't do that.
Is this
No.
guy married, not married? Who am I writing as?
Who am I really here?
No, but the truth is that asking patients or your clients to write a review
Yeah.
makes a big difference. Right?
Sure.
Giving them an incentive to write a review, you're just not supposed to do that.
Yep.
There's ways to do that.
FTC. Shh. You're not
Right.
saying.
There's definitely ways to do that to make it so that they want to write those reviews.
Yeah.
And share information.
Gotcha. So let's kind of go. For everybody who doesn't think this is working, or Doctor, let's kind of go back and where did you start? Let's go back to 2000. Well, let's go back to 2008 and 9, right? Kind of
Okay.
when I met you, and where you're at now, and how many patients you're seeing. Because I want to give someone, we're not just Dr. Jared isn't just making this up. It works, right? So
Absolutely.
you said you were seeing about 125 patients back 2008 and 9 a week.
Yeah, I want to say about 125.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe a good week was 150.
Yeah.
Well, and also tell us what you're doing prior to exploding your, just so any of our listeners, if they're like, oh shoot, that's what I'm doing, they can kind of identify too.
Yeah, although a caveat there is, it's so much different now.
Yeah,
we
sure.
have so much power, so much more availability. The power of social media is huge. Because back then, 2005, when I started this practice, I had, like we were talking earlier, I had a phone book ad.
Sure.
Okay. I was doing what was called the killer ad, which is a thing out there. Probably can't even say that. They'd probably sue me for saying killer ad.
Yeah.
But I had this ad that was just like a confession of a chiropractor that would go, I'd send it out in something called a newspaper. Okay. That was delivered.
Never heard of it.
I know.
No.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't SAC-B just quit running? Like,
yeah.
I mean, newspapers are. Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I hadn't noticed.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I mean, they wanted you to print on a piece of paper on goldenrod was the best, and a black and white picture, that was informal, and you give this whole confession about yourself, and it was schmaltzy. It did work, not as well as they wanted it to work, but so I was running a killer ad, and I was going and doing spinal screenings, that was actually pretty good because you go out and you'd meet people, right? Mm-hmm. And you tell them how crooked their back was and that they needed to come in and see you and things
Worst
like that.
back that you've ever seen.
Worst back I've ever seen.
Right.
In the 1 year that I've been in practice.
Yeah. It was easier to lie then.
Right.
Getting out like we can't.
Right. Oh, look at this. If you keep going, you're going to end up like Quasimodo. Give me a break.
Like
anyway,
2 weeks away from Quasimodo.
Right? Yes. Yeah. Any day now. Right? Failure, catastrophic failure. So, but anyway, you get out there and you meet people and you keep going from there. But now, you don't have to pay $600 to stand at a booth.
You're right.
Right?
Yeah.
You've got access. Depending on how many friends you have on Facebook,
right?
So in Mark's case, 3.
Yeah.
You got access to 3.
And I have 2 of them.
You yourself and
my multi-personal
right,
personalities out there.
Your mom's probably.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, I don't know.
No.
Not even your mother-in-law. Dang it, say it. Anyway, so you have access to so many more people that you can communicate with. Right. And you get to know them, and then you can send and give your message out to them as you move along. Right. And even better, when people know your message consistently because you're consistent with this, then they share your message.
Right. Which is that's when things really get crazy.
That's when then it explodes. So to go to your point there, I've seen about 125 patients back then. When we started getting good on social media and started getting new patients very consistently, we moved up to 200 pretty quickly.
Right.
And we stayed at 200 for a good little while. And then we were bumped up to 225. And it was about at that point that I decided, you know what? This is where I've got the volume now. I need to do the vision of more of a maintenance.
Is that when you could buy the Ferrari? Is that when you ordered your Ferrari and got that? Is that throughout the time? 225 patients is about Ferrari level.
Hey, Josh, remember the 6 kids?
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Minivan. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we had a minivan.
Yeah,
right?
you guys.
Yes. Yeah.
I have, in full disclosure, I have 4 kids, so it's weird.
Yeah. No, I mean, back then.
Minivans barely cut it nowadays.
I think at 5. When was I can't remember when the last one's 7 years old. So last one was born in do the math 2013.
A while ago.
Right.
None of us look like mathematicians right now. We're like,
I think her birthday's in 2013, right? She did 2012. She's turning 8 this year.
This is recorded. We're gonna send it to her. Yeah.
Okay, so her birthday's in 2012. Right, that's when she was born. So anyway, you look at that and no. Was I rich? No. Was I making enough money to be comfortable?
Yeah.
Yes. Right. I mean, it was a lot more comfortable.
Right.
And it was at that point that I said, you know what, I'm really going to try this maintenance care. Right. And that's what and it was really only for the people who were ready to be put on maintenance. And I'm like, okay. And back then it was $50 a month. You can come in as much as you want. I can't tell you how many people reactivated and just like, heck yeah, I'm on that.
Yeah.
And we exploded from there. We really started to grow from there.
Right. Yeah.
And honestly, it wasn't until, I don't know, about a year ago that we decided, you know what, we're tired of trying to sell longer term plans and everything. Everyone's just $80 a month, come in as much as you want.
Right.
And that's been amazing too. Yeah. Our income has not dropped at all. It's increased significantly.
Yeah.
In fact, not to brag, but
no, brag, please do. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, last year was our best year. Every year is our best year.
Yeah.
And I mean, we were just this shy of $1 million for the year.
Yeah.
In terms of profit. So I mean, that's
a lot of cracking.
it's good.
Yeah.
That's good business.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
well, now, I mean, you went from to now you have 4 chiropractors in the office.
We do.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean,
at different times of
yeah. Right now. I mean, they're.
Yeah.
It's tough because right now, of course, with the COVID-19.
Right.
Yeah.
We're if anybody watching this later, we're still in quarantine.
Yeah, we're in quarantine right now.
Right now, not
so
4.
those 2 docs are sitting at home
Yeah.
Collecting unemployment right now.
Yeah.
They're furloughed, if you will,
Yeah.
if that's the right word for it.
Yeah.
They're laid off, right? But they'll be back.
Actually, they're fired. I don't know if you guys. You're fired.
You're
Okay.
fired.
This is a weird way to
Breaking
tell you
news.
this.
I'm
You
kidding.
guys are out. Right?
You guys are
Never
fired.
bringing
Sorry,
that up.
this notice came about 2.5 months after we
Yeah.
recorded
Yes.
it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
No, the truth is that I'm missing them dearly.
Yeah.
You know, I'm ready for them to come back.
Sure.
It couldn't be justified because our numbers of patients that were coming in was cut in half
Right.
because people are staying home,
Home.
and sheltering in
yeah.
place
Yeah.
as they are told to do.
Yes.
Right. And so I mean it's just like, well, if that's
What do
going
you
to
do?
happen, then
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah.
lay them off. Plus that they're making with the generous programs that the government has,
Has
they're making
implemented.
$50 a week more than what I'm paying for them.
Oh, there you go.
Awesome, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if they want to come back.
Yeah. Yeah. How long can we stay on this?
Right, but
Yeah.
they'll get there. I mean,
Yeah.
in the time. I mean, they're at a point now. It's kind of a shame though, because they were really close to getting to that point where they start bonusing.
Mhm.
Once you start collecting a certain amount where it's not
Uh-huh.
costing me to employ
Right.
you,
To employ
right?
you. Yeah.
Then they start getting paid a percentage of the
Absolutely.
increase,
Yeah.
which is a great deal.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they were just about ready to get to that point. I'm
Yeah.
sure it'll take a step back from that. But anyway, moving on from there. Yes,
Sure.
we've got 4 docs in the office.
Yeah.
I'm by far the busiest.
Yeah.
About 500 of my patients get seen in a week.
Yeah.
Dr. Wagnon's about 300.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there, maybe a little bit less. And then the other docs are getting there.
Sure. Absolutely. But that's the whole.
They're
It's the
working
build,
on it.
right?
But that's the way it is. Yeah.
So, do you make them follow your same kind of social media? Is it just you that does the social media, or are they doing? Or are
No,
you...
they're highly encouraged to do that.
Yeah.
And they do it when I'm not there too, because I'm
Yeah.
only there now 3 days out of the week.
You
Right.
lazy rich business owner.
Yes, indeed. Right.
You're the worst.
Yeah, it's true.
That's sarcasm, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, a good friend of mine, we have the ultimate compliment now, as
Yeah.
we call each other a part-timer. Right?
Yeah. Right.
And,
Yeah.
and if you can be a permanent part-timer, so
Yeah.
you'll see sometimes on my posts, he'll put on Facebook, he'll go hashtag PPT, right? Permanent part-timer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that, and when I had to work a lot more because
Yeah.
I let someone go or
Yeah.
this, because the buck stops here. I mean, at the
You're
end of the
business
day,
owner. Right.
I'm going to be the one that shows up if no one else can.
Yeah.
Then he'll pull it back and start calling me a full-timer, which is the ultimate insult, right?
Right.
To us. So
Yeah.
anyway,
But I mean, so the business model really works. I mean, you're kind of getting to where, that business owner, I wouldn't say dream, but where you always try and get a business of, hey, can I step back,
Right.
work on the business, not always in the business, and have other guys, and you're giving the other docs an opportunity for them to build their own practice and thrive, right? Which is really the best part as a business owner, I think.
yeah, I mean, that's really where it is. I mean, I'm down to 3 times a week. I mean, I have Mondays and Thursdays off, and I don't work Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah.
Right. And the reason I took Mondays off is because when I was there, everyone wanted to see me.
Right.
Now on Mondays, that's their busiest day because I'm not there. They still need to be adjusted. They
Right.
know they're
Mhm.
good, right?
Yeah.
It exposes them. So it's a really great model.
Yeah.
And then also when you're only there 3 days a week and people get used to getting adjusted by other docs, now I can take vacations.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be in Fiji. I was supposed to go over my birthday. My birthday was a week ago.
But you're here with us.
Well, I would have been home by now,
Oh, okay.
but I was supposed
Huge step down.
Yeah.
I was-
This is like Fiji.
I had COVID-19,
Yeah.
and their one case in Fiji,
Yeah.
shut down the entire country.
Yeah.
I would have been in Fiji surfing with my brother-in-law and scuba diving with sharks and all that sort of stuff, and now I'm not. But
But let's be honest. But instead
get-
you're here.
but I could have.
No, but you're here, which is way better.
Yes, it is. It's
Bring
way
And
Great
if you
information.
think your
This
business
is-
is exploding
this is a
now,
good
wait until the
compensation. Yeah,
Wealth Preservation Podcast releases.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Through the
Ooh.
roof.
Strap
you
it
will
on,
be,
Dr.
you will be
Jared.
looking for
I-
a Costco to
I-
rent out.
I can't wait. Right. All the chiropractors in the world, I'm hiring you now.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I'm hoping to go do a lot more traveling.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my patients have been well trained that, hey, if I'm not there, you can go see one of the other doctors.
You're gonna get the same level of care.
and you're going to get taken care of very well.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to come in, that's on you.
Right.
And no one gripes about that.
Right.
That's a big change. I mean,
Right.
compare that to the first couple of years in practice where it was just me, only me, and I had to take a week off to go, on a family vacation.
Yeah, so everything was shut
right?
down. Yeah.
Which isn't a family vacation. That's an oxymoron.
Right.
We call them family trips, or
yes.
or what it was back then, which was visiting family, which is, I don't know, somewhere between like, taking time off from surgery and a root canal.
Right.
Like
Yes.
it's,
Yeah. So I'm gonna go sleep really uncomfortably with a whole bunch of my friends or
Yes.
family's kids.
Yeah, it's
for
not
a week.
It's not vacation.
No.
And that would cost me double.
Right. Yeah.
Because then I got to pay to go there, right? And then I also have to pay. It's a lost income.
Right. Absolutely.
Dr.
Yeah.
Thomas
now I
hates
don't do
family.
that.
Got it.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I didn't say that.
Yep. All right.
I hate
We'll
my.
see.
Wait, no, I didn't say that either.
Well, okay. So you obviously, so now you have time, right? Like now you have a little bit of time. So
Yes.
now you have time for that content creation,
Correct.
right? So, to try and tie this back to, because obviously, your social media presence, your social media marketing, that got you to that point. But when you were first starting out, like how much time did you set aside to because it's kind of a weird point to tell business owners like, hey, I want you to get on your phone and on social media more, and I want you to talk to strangers
Yeah.
about something not related to your practice.
The funny thing is when we were going around and doing the social media, classes.
Yeah.
That was the first question that always got asked. How much time do you spend on this? And the answer is very little.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't take a
Mhm.
lot of time.
Right.
It takes consistently doing it every day.
Right.
Okay. I mean, how long does it take for me? And I still, every time I go into the office, I post my hours. I say, like this morning was Happy Wednesday. I'll be in till 12:30.
Yep.
Dr. Wagner will be in from 2 to 6.
Mhm.
And then I put my I like to put pictures because pictures track a lot better.
Sure.
Today I had I take a picture on Wednesdays of my quiz question that I put up on my whiteboard.
Yeah.
And then that gets a lot of likes and comments
Yeah.
and things like that. So I do that every single time. How long did it take me to do that this morning? Well, I don't know, 2-3 minutes, right? 2 or 3 minutes. And how many people have liked it and how many people have commented on that? I don't know, probably 100.
Yeah.
I think I've tried to answer a couple of the quizzes too. I mean,
There you go, right?
it is something that I usually get them wrong, but
Well, they're designed for you to fail.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
the answer was E. There is no E.
There's no E, right? So I mean, we were talking about Facebook, right? And you can spend hours in Facebook getting lost in rabbit holes and,
Right.
and,
I
and
don't think
commenting
there's
on
any
political
study
blogs.
to support that.
No,
Yeah.
probably
No.
not.
It's probably just a guess, an educated
Yeah,
guess. on
there's
it.
no.
They started
analytics
the
on-
study many
yeah.
times. They
You
just
are
keep
a
getting lost.
doctor.
Right? So, but you're more. It's a much more valuable use of your time if you go through and look at people's posts and like them or comment on them, especially if it's about their family or
Right.
or even about their business, and just writing testimonials, doing things that will endear yourself to them.
Yeah.
They'll remember you.
Right.
Right. That's the important thing right there.
Yeah.
Is don't get lost in the same thing. That's the problem with Twitter right now. Is everyone's just trying to push out their interesting content and nobody's reading that
Their content,
yeah.
right.
Or that's all they're doing is reading it and not putting out anything interesting. It's
Right.
it's not very fun. It's not
Yeah.
social right anymore. So anyway, that's what I would say in terms of social media is use it as the tool that it's supposed to be used for.
Okay.
Right. And the same thing
Yeah.
with Instagram too. I mean, Instagram, you got to tell it with a picture, right?
Yeah.
But you also still have to go into your Instagram friends and they want to get likes. They love the likes.
Yeah.
They love the little heart. They love it when you comment, even if it's just like, hey, good job. Congratulations. Thumbs up or a funny GIF. I don't know.
Yeah.
What is
GIF.
it?
I think we'll go with GIF.
Yeah.
GIF? Is that,
I think that's what the kids
it's a
call it.
G, No,
Yeah.
I think the kids call it GIF.
Do they?
Really?
I don't know. What do the kids call it? You're homeschooled. You don't know what kids
I
say.
usually
Yeah.
say
Homeschool.
both.
My kids are homeschooled too.
Yeah.
But my
Yeah.
my sons definitely have an opinion on it. I can't
Yeah.
ever remember which one it is.
I
Because whichever
Yeah.
one it is, I try to say the opposite of.
Oh, on
that-
purpose to make it mad.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
That's the dad in me.
Yeah.
So
Anytime you can
I think
funly embarrass your kids or annoy them,
it's always
yes.
that's redundant.
I think it
Funly
is a
embarrassed.
GIF because you wouldn't say graphic, like graphic.
No, I think it's GIF because it's opposite of what makes sense to me, and I would say GIF. I think that's what it is.
Potato, tomato. I
Because
don't
it's
know.
graphic. It's graphic interchange file, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It is.
Huh?
There we go.
Nerd talk.
Graphic interchange
Wow.
file. But because it's a j before an I, they say it's j.
You're the linguist. Yeah.
I'll go with you. I'm gonna go.
That's what my son says.
All right.
So, anyway, I call it a gift.
And he's probably really smart.
All right.
So.
Right. Anyway,
He's the son of a doctor.
no, he's smart because he's freaking genius.
He's smart because he's
Homeschooled.
Really smart.
Yeah,
Homeschooled. There you go. Yeah.
Asperger's too. Like
Oh,
so.
super
These
smart,
things
yeah.
are really important to him.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were you gonna ask next? You weren't.
We really
yeah.
should-
No, I.
What else do you
Speaking-
want to know?
Speaking
Yeah.
of rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so you kind of
Steel traps.
Let's just kind of.
What are we talking about?
So you kind of talked about your journey. You took your practice from 125 patients a week, which I thought back you probably thought back in the day was like, hey, on the chiropractor level, I'm yay for me. And then you hit that 200, 225, and that was just you rolling solo. Because I remember your old office right up the street from where you're one now with the cold concrete walls and
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And now you're
Cinder block. Yes.
Cinder block. That's right. Yes.
Cinder block. Yes.
Now you're at four chiropractors in the office. You're kind of pulling. I'm gonna use the word pulling back. That's not the right term, but you're
I'm cutting down my hours that
cutting
I
out-
work
that you work
in the office.
right. Yes, still have a full-time job. I think people always forget that aren't business owners. Just because you're not at
Yeah.
the thing, you're still working.
You're always working.
You're always working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have a family,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of things I do, and then of course I want to, like I said, we're going into the new venture of teaching other chiropractors how to
Sure,
get to the
absolutely.
high level, which
Yeah.
is the consulting side of it.
Mhm.
But I'm kind of like I'm a very different consultant, and I want to do it in a different way too. I want to do it through more social media and podcasts and
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
books and stuff
Right.
like that,
Yeah.
as opposed to the hey, pay me $100 a minute to talk on the telephone, and I'll tell you exactly what
Right.
Give me your
Yeah.
watch, and I'll tell you exactly what time it is.
Yeah.
right?
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, so we're growing. We're doing good.
Yeah, that's always encouraging.
Now another side of things too, because social media doesn't take that long. People need to be doing more of that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
But also, we touched a little bit of this on our last podcast, was the search engine optimization
Yeah.
and how that So if the social media side doesn't take that much time, you said you can really spend a lot of time doing the search engine optimization.
You kind of were talking about blogging and
And all
Yeah,
the blogging and all the consistency there.
And full caveat, I don't do my own search engine optimization. I leave that up to my website guy. Okay.
Mhm.
So I know, I'm a one-trick pony when it comes to search engine optimization. And that is this: content is king.
Yep, hasn't changed. in a long
That's the
time.
one thing that
Yeah.
hasn't changed that I know of, right?
Right.
Is that if you can put out enough content, it has enough keywords that it will be good, right?
Right.
And even though every time I write a blog post, it gives me a thing. It just says, "Oh, the SEO it gives me the frowny face,"
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But yet I still search high, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how
Yeah.
frowny face that could be.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just because I've got so much content that it was really good search and SEO optimized. I don't know how that all works.
Yeah.
I really don't. What I know is that blogging gives me a chance to convey my thoughts on the subject.
Gotcha.
Okay? And it helps with SEO stuff.
Gotcha.
So
Yep.
it's a dual purpose.
Dual purpose. Yep.
But mostly though, it gives my patients or prospective patients an idea, not just of what I think, but my personality.
Mhm.
Okay? And so I highly encourage people to do their own marketing.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
I don't mean, you don't have to be the best writer. It's okay, right? And honestly, even if you stole, like I tell the chiropractors that have consulted with, I'm like, look, I've written well over 100 articles and put it on my blog site.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what? Steal one.
Yeah.
Go through it, change a few words here and there, make it seem like your own, make it seem like your voice.
Yeah.
But it needs to be a personal thing. That's what you're doing, is you're making
Mhm.
connections on a personal level. Anyone can pick up a generic, hey, this is how this is done.
Right.
Anyone can look at WebMD and have
Mhm.
cancer off of that too.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
anyone can figure that out.
Yeah.
They want to read my personality. Once they start seeing my personality too, they're going to click over. They're going to see a picture of my family. I'm going to become relatable to them,
Right.
so that when they walk in, they already have a relationship with me, even though I've never met them.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where that's the power of the internet right now. Is that
Yeah.
networking extends well beyond just someone that you can meet while they're eating, a piece of shrimp or something
Right.
like that. Right?
Yeah.
So-
Okay. So we kind of talked about how you've grown, kind of the marketing strategy, SEO, social media, blogging, all super important. It's got your ranking really high, but also being relatable, right? That's the super important thing. It's just you're just not putting out content that says, "Hey, look at me, look at me." You're like actually engaging with people, right?
Right.
Like you would at a party. You want to go find out how somebody's doing today.
Yes,
Or-
I mean, let's be honest, right? And this is right from How to Win Friends and Influence People, right? If you want to be liked, talk about the other person.
Right.
Ask them questions. Get to know them. It's the weirdest thing, right? They come back and think, that guy is a really nice guy.
Yeah.
You might not even know they might not know anything about you, but they know where to find out about you.
Yeah.
So there again on social media, say what you need to say in your post or whatever.
Sure.
But take the time to go back in and talk to the other people
Right.
about them.
Yeah.
Congratulate them. Give them a sad face when they're sharing sadly. Condolences. Whatever it
Right.
is,
Yeah.
they will remember that way more than they will remember your.
You mean
your
be
post.
human?
Oh,
almost.
I know.
Yeah.
Crazy,
right? Yeah. Okay.
In a world where
Does not compute.
It's not computer.
Yeah.
humanity-
Okay. So we're gonna into the speed round.
Oh,
Or do you have
well,
something else?
one more thing, and then we can go into the speed round.
Okay.
Because you're obviously doing things, really remarkably, and I guess when you're doing any consulting or you're looking at anyone else's strategy, what's probably the key thing that you see, or the most common thing where you're like, that's a big stink. That is a terrible marketing idea, or just a very common marketing fail.
So I try not to look for marketing fails. Honestly,
Mhm.
I try not to, but I think that the biggest thing that I see that would be a fail and I think, just thinking back, and I think this is true for all of us here, right? Is nobody likes to be spammed,
Right.
right? I mean, it's obnoxious,
It is. Yeah.
and you see it. That's where it drives me crazy is the spamming thing, and this is especially true on LinkedIn. Okay, and I know you guys do a lot of LinkedIn.
I have noticed.
And I do a little bit on LinkedIn, but I get too inundated with nonsense. Like, I befriend everyone on LinkedIn because I know that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I also know that I'm going to have to go through and click that I've read their stupid email about, hey, I do this for people,
Yeah.
and it's,
I
3 or
got
4
like 2 of them
paragraphs
this
long.
morning. Yeah.
Like, I'm not listening to that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't care.
That's, and even the ones that are like, well, sometimes it's just about follow up. So I'm following up again for the 10th time. Right.
Yeah.
And I've got one guy I've even written back and said, we're doing just fine, thanks. And then he never responds. And then he responds back, and then I get not a response, but another email. It's like,
Yeah.
how is this going for you? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Leave
You're
me
like, hey,
alone.
when I was trying to be human, you're not being human.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the biggest fail that I would see is
Yeah.
going back to is not really being human, being someone who's just trying to sell. I call that person pip pump handle, right? They just keep shaking your hand, making sure you're going to. That's from Animaniacs, by the way. I didn't,
Great cartoon.
and it's a
one of my
great
favorites.
episode if
Yeah.
you ever see the pip pump handle. Anyway, and that's a whole new topic. Right? We won't even go there. But that guy who just keeps shaking your hand until he
Right.
gets you to buy his product,
Yeah.
it's a fail.
Oh,
Yeah.
what was it? Ned on Groundhog's
Yeah,
Day.
Ned,
Needle
Ned,
nose
Ned,
Needle nose
Ned,
Yeah.
Have
Needle
you
nose
ever
Ned?
heard a single payer premium? My God, it's good to see you.
Right, that's the
Yes.
guy, right?
Yeah, that's
Bing,
Bing.
That is it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. If you don't be that guy,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
don't be him. And
But-
I mean,
but-
probably a good rule of thumb too is like, because there's a lot of I programs out there where it's like, hey, this is gonna all automate. It's like, hey, if it's automated and doing the work for you,
It
it's a
feels-
robot.
It's a
Yeah.
robot. Right.
It's
And
you know,
right? But even look at the flip side of that movie, right? And you've got the surly newscaster that doesn't like anyone,
Right.
whatever, and he lives his life over and over and over again, and he starts figuring out that the way to happiness, right, is and to win friends and influence is to really help and serve people, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, really, when at the end of the day, isn't that what it's all about?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we could go biblical on that. We could go.
Yeah.
You could go deeper on other religions on that,
Sure.
right? I mean, the true source is to serve and help other
Others.
people,
Yep.
and you do that at their level, right? What they need, where they are, and by the end of that movie, right, he even buys insurance from
Ned.
Needle
Yeah.
Nose Ned,
Yeah.
right? Ryerson,
Ned Ryerson.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good one. You
Ryerson,
remember that? Yes.
Bing, right? And they become friends, right?
Sure,
I mean,
yeah.
and then he goes around. I mean, what does Ned say at the end, right? He doesn't talk about himself at the end. He's like, well, check out this guy. He's, he even bought a couple policies from, it's
Yeah.
like, that's how you endear yourself to people.
Right.
And that is true whether it's in real life, in person, or in fake life on Facebook.
Yeah.
Right. Which
Yep.
is still real life for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You
Want to
know?
clarify that before this episode, I did not plan on bringing up Groundhog's Day as a centerpiece on character development in business
There
and
you
the
go.
Bible. So
There you go.
and then
We
were
go
gonna
all we go
yeah,
deep.
Wow.
we can go deep all over.
Yeah,
Like,
we
but that's
really-
you know that's the way I do things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, awesome. So a lot of great content in there. Thank you so much. We're gonna go into a speed round real quick.
Yep.
And just touch on a couple, a couple topics. First, recommending tools to boost social media presence. Now, you already gave me my lashings for mentioning Hootsuite. So
To each their own.
Schmootsuite. We'll
Yeah.
call
Yeah.
it something else. But are there any tools out there that you're like, hey,
You
if
talked about use like an SEO optimization that gives you the happy face, frowny face.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
just some stuff that helps.
just any easy tool where you're like, if you want to boost your social media presence, like look into this tool here.
Honestly, I don't really have anything.
Okay.
I don't. I really don't.
That's a quick,
Yeah,
quick
there we
answer. Common misconceptions or mistakes when people are creating content.
The biggest mistake is not doing it, or waiting until it's perfect to send it out there.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's the biggest
Yep.
mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they just never get to the point where they actually send it out there because they keep trying to tweak it and then they just never ever get it out there. Get it out there.
Yeah.
Get it out. It's going to be raw. At
Yeah.
first it's going to suck. We
Yeah.
all know that. That's okay. You know what? That works too. And
Yeah.
people kind of like that raw a little
Yeah.
bit
A
as
little
well.
bit. Yeah.
I mean, it humanizes you again
Right.
a little bit more.
Yeah.
So do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Not to steal from Nike, who, by the way, stole from Spencer W. Kimball.
True.
I
Yes.
don't know if you know that, right?
Thieves.
Yeah, prophet of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day
No.
Saints. Yeah, he had long before Nike came out with "Do It." With "Just Do It," his catchphrase was "Do it now."
Oh.
There you go,
There you go.
1970s.
He should file a suit.
There you
should.
go. Well, he's
Yeah.
dead now, but
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
He's long gone,
I should think about it.
right? I don't think the church is into making money off
Yeah,
of
probably not.
frivolous
You
lawsuits
should
like
think
that.
about it.
Yeah.
But you know,
What would Jesus do?
Yeah. Okay. You have 6 kids and you're a
yes.
business owner.
Yes.
If your kids were going to be just fine for a month and you and your wife could go travel, where would you go?
Where wouldn't I go?
Where would you go?
Well, I mean, and we're doing that. We have, I don't know, about a month. We'll go for about 2-3 weeks at a time. I mean, this fall, if it all works out, we're going to go to Israel.
Nice.
I had a trip planned for Fiji.
Okay.
If I were going to go a whole month, my wife would say, "Hey, let's hit every really good place that serves excellent food, like Italy, and then Spain, and then France again, and then things like that."
Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel.
Well, I was.
Don't mess with the Cracker Barrel, man.
I've actually never been. I just hear great things.
That's
That's
near and dear to my heart
Yeah.
from when I moved to South Carolina, and that was like the only thing that tasted like real food when I lived in a
Yeah.
hotel for a month.
I thought you were going to
Anyway.
say Vacaville was my guess. So for a month.
Well, yeah, I mean,
They have the outlets there.
they do have the outlets, yes.
A place is not
Uh-huh.
anywhere you really want to hang out too long when they brag, hey, we have the outlets.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Yes.
Sorry if you like going back to
India.
Vacaville.
I'm going
Anytime
to
I've
India,
been
right?
somewhere where they're like, we have the outlets, I'm like, I don't want to stick around here.
Yeah, no. I mean, there's so many places. I'd go to Australia. I'd go to New Zealand. I don't know. I'd love to travel.
Okay.
On our next episode, Dr. Thomas travels the world.
Travel
Yeah,
tips
yeah.
from
Travels
Dr.
the world.
Thomas, right?
Okay. So you have 6. Have you ever, with your 6 kids, have you ever used your chiropractic science as punishment?
I can neither confirm nor deny that I know exactly where to push on a kid
Okay.
to make them squirm to a point where they're just not quite comfortable. So
You heard. I mean, it gets possible.
I was going to say, I'd imagine with your knowledge, you could be like, hey, I know how to put things back into place, but that means I know
how to fix you? Yes.
where to
yes,
take
the old
them
Bill
out.
Cosby line.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say Bill Cosby?
Oh, hey, whoa,
Oh,
easy.
the
Whoa.
rapist, yeah.
Cut that.
Yeah,
I actually
yeah,
have
yeah.
not had a
Kidding
pudding
me.
pop since that went down.
Yes. Dude, I brought you into this world. I'll take you out, and I can make
Yeah.
one just like you, right? Yes.
Yeah.
I got 5 others.
Well, awesome. I think we'll wrap it up there. Dr. Jared, thank you so much for being here. That was a really great episode on marketing and kind of
Thank
how you
you.
built your practice.
We still have to do adjustments.
We're going to. Oh, yeah,
Yes.
we're going to. Any last closing thoughts before we end this episode?
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
I
Thanks for
appreciate
being
it.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
If you're in the Roseville area, you need an awesome chiropractor, Dr. Jared, check out myroosevillechiropractor.com.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
we got 4 awesome ones. We
Yeah.
got Dr.
Yeah, come
Wagon,
in.
Dr.
Yeah,
Karp, and Dr. Seichow too.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
awesome chiropractors.
All awesome. That'll get you done. Mark, any closing thoughts before we wrap this up?
I'd say one thing that did, stick out was your when you were talking about blogs and saying like, hey, just put your, you don't have to be a good writer. Like it is true. You don't have to be a good writer. You may need to have a good editor, but if you're writing about something you're passionate about, it's going to show. You can have someone make it pretty, but if a blog is going to, do to your practice what it did to his, I would highly consider, getting into that.
Absolutely.
Regular and consistent.
Yeah.
Regular and consistent.
Well, thanks again, Dr. Jared, for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So just to wrap this up, thanks for joining us on another episode of the Wealth Preservation Podcast. We hope you enjoyed that one. Make sure you check out the first episode we did with Dr. Jared, where he kind of talked about his story and kind of how he created the back-cracking monolith that he is now, and just kind of heard his story, which is very interesting. So thanks. And lastly, anything that's said here should not be taken as tax, legal, or financial advice. Please make sure you consult a CPA, financial advisor, attorney before you make any decisions. If you don't know of a good one, let us know. We'll get you in contact with one. And thanks for listening, and have a wonderful day.